thing we know, officially and unofficially, about the DLC. If you've been following me for a while, you surely remember some videos where I presented the Chrome Swap body. At the time, well, it was one of the best mods, and it still is, but there was a big problem. Even if your truck had a swap body, the game engine always required you to have a trailer attached to transport cargo, accept a job, and deliver it. It was impossible to just leave with the truck alone. To bypass this limitation, creators had come up with several solutions. The best known was the invisible trailer, but it was still a bit complicated because sometimes there were issues with the AI or even problems with parking or walls in the back. It was quite messy. But no matter what, whatever solution was offered to us, it worked. But it was never a true official solution. What changes with version 1.61, and this is where everything gets interesting, is that with the experimental version, the game engine can now allow loading a box directly onto the rigid truck's chassis. Concretely, you take your truck, you choose a job, and the box installs itself directly onto the vehicle. No trailer, no hacks, no invisible trailer. The truck finally becomes a true transport vehicle. And that is a huge change because until now, the game simply didn't know how to handle this functionality. Why is this a major evolution? This change seems subtle, but it opens up a huge number of possibilities. Mod creators no longer need to work around the way the game operates. They can finally use a much cleaner and more official system. Realism is progressing tremendously. Swap body chassis finally make full sense, and above all, this new method is much closer to how actual European rigid trucks work. We are moving from a technical workaround to a feature directly supported by the game engine. The link to the Coach DLC is precisely where things get very interesting. For several months, SES has been developing the upcoming Coach DLC. We already know that the coaches will transport passengers, but unlike trailers, a bus or coach does not tow anything at all. The vehicle carries its cargo, the passengers, directly, and ultimately, what is a passenger in ETS 2? It's simply cargo loaded directly into the vehicle, exactly like this new swap body unit. We can therefore imagine that this technical development will also be used for the Coach DLC. I should clarify that SCS has never confirmed this link, but it is logical to think that technologies developed for one feature could benefit other game systems. There is another scenario that seems even more credible to me. For several years, a huge part of the community has been calling for real, official, rigid trucks. Vehicles capable of carrying their load directly on their chassis without a semi-trailer. Until now, the game engine strongly limited this possibility. Today, that limitation seems to be starting to disappear. Does this mean that SCS is finally preparing official rigid trucks? It is impossible to say for sure, but this new technology clearly points in that direction. And if rigid trucks arrive officially one day, the work being done today in this experimental beta will likely have served as a foundation. And to wrap up this video, a quick conclusion. So obviously, this 1.61 experimental feature is perhaps one of the biggest changes in this update, even if it hasn't been officially announced by the developers for now. In any case, it remains one of the biggest changes. Tell me in the comments what you think of this development. Do you think it was primarily developed for the Coach DLC, or do you already see rigid trucks arriving officially in ETS 2? I am very curious to read your theories, what you think, and above all, your feedback. If you enjoyed this analysis, consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and hitting the bell to not miss any future analyses on ETS 2 and the world of SCS software. I'll see you in the next videos, and in the meantime, take care of yourselves and have fun.
Hello boss, today we would like to show you our bestseller.
This lecture features a wingback design. It allows you to maintain a suitable sitting posture